What are the biggest barriers when trying to convince an organization that open is the better way?
So in the last 2 years, done a lot of work with CIOs, heads of state, director levels, variety of people leading teams and building solutions around the world. And we found that 64% of those leaders, the reason that they say we can't do open is literally a lack of education, understanding, lack of context, assumptions, those sort of things. And that barrier is, again, broad statement, but one of the statements that was made by a CIO is, well, we can't do open because we deal with people's data. It's like, well, that's kind of actually not accurate, so let's dig into that. So when you start digging into those conversations to understand, again, current understanding and how we can take a limiting belief around that and expand it out with more awareness, we begin to find that it is just, okay, I didn't understand. I didn't know that that could be applied in this context, that open exists far outside of just the technology conversation of how we're, our approaches and practices for building solutions. But it also is then the next big piece of that is the cultural piece. What policies have to change, what governance has to shift, how do we allow people to stop being competitive and become collaborative within our organization? How does that information flow? And so it's a variety of those things that are the biggest barriers. The other thing I would say is other parts of my work that is focused on the value of contribution. We've discovered that people have different acceptances to language, let's say. So sometimes I recommend it's very important to find bridging words for people. And what I mean by that is if you have a leader that is very much feels like resistant to, their whole purpose has been to build a legacy of an organization or deliver a solution, right? And then if you come in with the word like innovation and we're going to change everything and it's going to be fantastic and brand new, that hits a resistance wall for that person because they're like, well, what about everything that I've been doing? What are you going to do with that? And so if you recognize that, you come to your conversations differently to talk about how open isn't just breaking everything apart and making it brand new and wildly innovative. It's about taking the best parts of that, moving other things forward. It's about the evolution. It's about the iteration of what you're doing.